So now that we got the throttle body cleaned off, this is what we've got in store here. And we've got a couple of goodies from our friends over at Outsider Garage. And so this is a drive-by-wire adapter. So this, even though it says NB, it actually works out, it's the exact same as the 1.8, which obviously this car has. And so that's going to adapt it on there. And then in turn, it's going to bolt the other side to the Bosch 68mm. Now, the one thing about this kit that these adapters I really like is that they're all O-ringed. So no more gaskets, no more RTV. That'll just go on just like that. And they include hardware as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get this adapter on and the throttle body on and then go from there. So I feel kind of stupid, but I made a mistake and I went to go put the throttle body on, and for some reason I couldn't get it to line up. The thing about these throttle bodies is they're symmetrical, so it really shouldn't matter which way you clock it and it should go on. So I was like initially looking at how it needs to go on just to get the motor cleared, and then I went to go bolt one on and I couldn't get anything lined up. Well, anyways, I found out the hard way looking at the part number that this is a 68mm. The drive-by-wire throttle body adapters are designed for a 60 for a Miata, so I've got to go and order one of those. Not a huge deal, sucks that it kind of put us behind, but so we've got a little bit of stuff done now that we have to wait for the throttle body. So I went ahead and mounted the flex fuel sensor here. I removed the igniter box because we're not using that anymore because we've got the R8 coils. So we're going to be tapping into this wiring here to get the R8 coils done. Boost controller as well is mounted. So we've also got to do something about this here. So here's this charge pipe. So this was for the idle air control valve, this is not that big of a deal for us because we're drive-by-wire, so we're no longer using that. The biggest thing though really is this intake air temp sensor. They have just like the generic rubber plug in here, and this for sure would have been a boost lead. So we're gonna have to get them a different IAT sensor, which is going to be from, you know, like our threaded GM style one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to do a little bit more wiring. So we've got to figure out where we can start running all of our wires, because remember, we still have a couple other sensors that need to be wired up. We also need to start figuring out how to do the gas pedal wiring from the pedal position sensor to the ECU, and then we also have to wire up the brake switch. Now the brake switch is part of the drive-by-wire safety scenario. So basically, if it sees throttle position while you're nailing the brakes for, you know, X amount of time, it'll automatically cut power to the drop-by-wire system, and that's there for safety. So the good news is that Mazda, for some reason, had the brake switch wiring already going into the ECU. I have no earthly idea why, but they already did. So that works out pretty good for us. So we're gonna do, we're basically done in the engine bay for now. So what we've got to do is just do some more wiring on the ECU side of it, and then add some connectors and stuff like that, so that way we can disconnect it as need be. So I've been messing with this for a few hours now, trying to figure out why the launch control switch was just staying on all the time. So when I was checking yesterday, it was just staying on. And if I pull it up here, so launch is set up in switch number 2, and hopefully you guys can see it, but it just stays on regardless of whether I'm pushing the clutch or not. Well, I found the reason. The reason is that whoever was messing with this car before, they tried to bypass the clutch interlock. So, you know, on a manual car, you have to push the clutch in to start it. Well, they bypassed the wrong switch, which was the cruise control switch, which is what we, surprise, use for launch. So, it is really tight underneath the dash here. So I'm going to see if you guys can see it or not. But, if you guys look where my finger is at, you can see that there's 2 wires joined. And what do you think those 2 wires are for? That's right, it's for the freaking clutch switch. So they did it wrong. No surprise there. All right, so we've got some stuff working. So launch still is not working, but we did get the brake switch working. So the reason why brake switch is important is because drive-by-wire. So if there's an issue with drive-by-wire, let's say the throttle gets stuck, you can hit the brake pedal for X amount of seconds and then it will turn something off. And engine protection, stuck throttle. Okay, so I'm not sure what exactly happens here, but something happens. But that's set up. And you see it has to be analog 6 because switch inputs are ground only, meaning that the brake switch is 12 volts. So when you hit the brake pedal, it applies 12 volts, and then the lights and the trunk come on. But you can't wire that into a switch, so it has to take up an analog position. Now that puts us into our next issue here. So our next issue is that we're actually out of inputs already. So we only have 6 analog inputs, okay? And that means that they are analog inputs that aren't critical. So critical ones are like map sensor, TPS, coolant, intake air temp, wideband. Those are all dedicated inputs, okay? So that means that it does not come out of this extra 6. So drive-by-wire right here, this is already 2. This is for the actual throttle body sensors themselves. There's 2 of them in there. And then you need 2 more for the pedal position sensor. Now, the good thing is that we can use one for the throttle position sensor, and the other one can be another input. So that saves us one of the 6 analog inputs. Okay, so this is now everything basically configured. As you can see, we've got our brake here, we've got the second pedal position, we've got oil pressure, fuel pressure, and no space for temperature at all. So like I said, we're basically out of inputs, and we haven't even factored in like vehicle speed sensor, if there's any other switches that he would want. The switches, like I said, are okay because we've got 2 of them. Yeah, so we have the AC switch in here, and then we have the actual clutch switch, which we know is hardwired in. So that's where we're kind of stuck at. We're out of inputs. Now, the good news is that we can do CAN bus inputs, but that requires another piece to do so. So we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna have to do about that. All right, so unfortunately that's it for us today. We're at a standstill. There's not really anything else I can do. So when we get back, we're going to be able to wire up the coils hopefully, and we can fully bypass the igniter. Now you may notice this wire here, and that's just to jump the tach output. We'll talk about that at a later date. So we're basically going to bypass all that over there for the coil wiring and all that jazz, and then that'll be done. So we've got our new throttle body on order, just waiting for it to get here now, unfortunately. And so at this point, the only thing that we can do is let Jeremiah do his job to start working on some of the intercooler piping. So in terms of that, we just have things that are just kind of doing a lot of weird stuff here. So like this oil drain kind of slopes around, and that might be okay because it is a downward slope, but as we get right here, it starts to bottom out. This could be more direct. But the biggest thing is that you can see back here, this coolant, the lower radiator hose here is like pushed up right against it, the charge piping, and it was no different on this side as well. So this upper radiator hose was pushed up against the fan. So I feel like we've got a good bit of stuff done, not as far as I'd like it to be, but progress is progress, so we can't complain too much about that.